Hi guys, welcome to ChiquiStudios. I'm so happy to be doing these live stream tutorials. This is my first class, so if you have any questions, if you don't understand anything, please let me know and I'll try to be more clear about it. I really hope that you guys learn a lot from these tutorials, and not only that, but you guys enjoy tuning in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So before I get started, I just want to talk about a couple of tools that I use on a day-to-day basis that help me with the macrame. The first one is, if you guys have enough space in your homes, I would recommend using a rack with some hooks. Both of these I got at IKEA. The rack is like $13, and the hooks they sell in sets of 4 and sets of 6. These go up and down, so they're like super good to adjust when you have different projects. If you don't have a lot of space, then don't feel discouraged if you can't buy a rack. For this specific project, you can just mount a hook on your wall, or even for bigger projects. Before I even had a rack, I used to fold these doors back here and hang my rod on the top of the door when I used to do bigger pieces. Something else that I use is a yardstick, super handy when measuring. Another thing that's super essential is tape. I use brown tape, but you can use any type of tape. This is good for the tips of the cord. Once you cut it, it's good to put tape around it just to prevent the cord from unraveling and while you're knotting. Then, last but not least, is some scissors. I recommend investing in a good pair of scissors. The cheap and flimsy ones, personally for me, aren't very good. When I first started doing macrame, my scissors didn't last not even a month because of the cord that I'm using and the amount of time that I'm using them with the cord. So yeah, investing in a good pair of scissors will be really helpful in the long run. So the project that we're going to do today is a macrame plant hanger. This is a super basic and simple plant hanger, but it's really good for beginners because it teaches you some of the main knots that you'll be using throughout your macrame adventure. I use both of these in almost every single one of my projects. This is a pretty standard size for a plant hanger, so you can use each cord should be either 5 or 6 yards long. I wouldn't go, if you're doing something small like a small plant hanger for your office, then I wouldn't go anything less than 3 yards. If you want to do something for a bigger pot, this size still helps because you have like all of this leftover string on the bottom, but you can always use more cord. If you wanted to keep all this string, you can definitely use more than 5 to 6 yards. So the materials that we're going to be using for this tutorial are a ring. We're going to be using 8 beads. Both of these you can use whatever. I'm using wooden materials, but you can use a brass ring, or you can do more colorful rings, more colorful beads. So anything that you would want. And then we are cutting 8 cords. For this plant hanger, I'm doing 5 yards each, and then 2 more cords of 1 yard each. So let's get started. So I'm going to put our hook, our ring, and then we're going to grab one of our 8 cords and we're going to fold it in half. Now we're going to put it through the ring, and we're going to go all the way to the middle of the cord. So we're going to do this with all 8 cords. Usually I like putting the cords on the ring as I'm cutting each string, just because it's easier just as far as count, and so they don't get tangled together. So 2, and 3, and then 4. So we're going to do 4 on the bottom, and then the remaining 4 we're going to put on top of these 4. So they'll go like right here, and then the other ones will go right here. So 5. And put on top. 6. And then 2 more. 7. And then 8. So now I'm going to adjust them just to make sure that they're on top of each other. Closer. And then now we're going to grab one of our 1 yard long ropes, and what we're going to be doing is a wrap knot. So we would grab one side of the rope, and we're going to form like a little U like this. We can do it like 4 or 5 fingers long. So we're going to put it in front of our cords, just like this. We're going to grab the top. With one hand, we're going to grab the top of the U, and then with another hand, we're going to grab the leftover of the string. And now we're going to wrap it around all of the cords. So we do it tight, we adjust, and then we keep on wrapping it and wrapping it until we reach the bottom, at least like a finger, just like this. Too much. So like this. So I'm going to do it one more time. So with one side, we're going to do a U, like 5 fingers. We're going to put it over our section, just like this. Then we're going to grab the top and then wrap around the section. It's not going to be perfect at the beginning. So hold on. Let's do it again. And then we'll wrap around. Around. So I like to do it tight, just so everything is in place and it doesn't move afterwards. So now what we're going to do is that with this little hole that's left here, we're going to put the leftover string inside the hole, and then we're going to pull this little tip up here up so that it can go inside of the wrap, just like this. So now with my scissors, I'm going to cut the leftover string that was left. Now we're going to separate all these strings down here into 4 groups of 4 cords each. So it would be these 4. So you can grab any cord, it doesn't really matter which ones you grab, just try to grab cords that are like near each other. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to form a square knot. So the way that a square knot works is that we use 4 cords to create this knot. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The ones in the outside are going to be the working cords, and then the ones in the inside are going to be the base cords. So the base cords are always in the middle, and they don't really do anything other than set the knot in place afterwards. But these working cords are the ones they're going to be working with and knotting with, and they're going to be going around the base cord. So for the square knot, the first step is that we're going to start with the left side. So with the left working cord, it's going to go over the base cords, forming a 4. Then the right working cord is going to go over the left working cord, then it's going to go behind the base cord and through the loop, just like this. So now we're going to tighten it, make sure it's all the way up, and now we're going to go back. So we're going to do like a reverse 4. So we're going to start with the right this time. It's going to go over the base, then the left goes over the right working cord, through the back of the base, and in the loop. So we're going to do 4 of these. Then we're going to tighten it. So you see how I pull here the middle cords? This will set the knot in place. So now again, we'll do a 4 with the left working cord. The right goes on top of the left, through the back of the base, and in the loop. Just like this. Then we pull it up, and then we go reverse. The right first, the left goes on top, behind, and through the loop. So 2 things to watch over that are the most common mistakes are to do the 4, but instead of putting the right over the left, you just leave it like this, and then you go behind it. So this is one of the most common mistakes. So make sure that the right is always over the left of the cord. So it will be the 4 and this one over and behind. And then another common mistake to watch for is that you do put the right over the left, but you go behind the base with the left one. So the right way to do it is you make a 4 with the left, put the right over the left, through the back, and through the loop. So this is 3, then we go reverse. and then one more time. We do a 4, the right goes over the left, through the back, and then through the loop. And then reverse, 4. So the way to know that you're doing the square knot the right way is by seeing these little zigzags here. They look like little Pac-Mans. So if you have these, is that you're doing the square knot the right way. And to count how many you've done, you just count these little vertical lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a bead. So this is where the base cord is where we use it. So the bead is going to go through both the base cords. We're going to move it all the way up. And then with the working cords, we're going to create 4 more square knots. So we would go over the bead, and then we'd go again 4, over, behind, and through the loop. And then we tighten it so it can go around the bead. And now we're going to go reverse. 1. So the good thing about macrame is that if you make a mistake, you can always undo the knot and redo it. So don't feel like you have to leave it in place or get frustrated if you can't get it. It always takes a couple of tries to perfect the knot. And once you start knotting more too, then you'll find a way that's easier for you to do things. And it'll become easier. Like your hands will move faster and won't be as stiff. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do one more section, and then we'll go to the next sequence. So then we're going to grab right now the next group of 4. So working cords, base cords. So again, we're going to make 4 square knots. So we're going to tighten it all the way to the top. Now we're going to move reverse. Now the second one, 4, over, behind, and through the loop. And then reverse. Three. Reverse. And 4. So once you finish with one side, you always want to make sure that that the knots fall in the same place as the first one. And if they don't, you can always like readjust, like move them down if they're too short, or squeeze them up a little bit if they're too long. So now we're going to put a bead again. So we're grabbing our base cords. Going to put a bead. Go through. And then 4 more square knots. So we're going to go around the bead. And again, 4. Now we fix it a little bit. reverse. So 1, 2, 3. So like I said before, I like doing the knots tight so they can be firm. But if you like doing things more loose, then make sure you do it loose throughout or tight throughout, so all of the groups end up in the same place. So just like this. So 1 and 2. So the next section that we're going to do is we're going to work on a half square knot. So before starting the square knot, because we've been knotting all of this with the working cords, the cords in the outside are much shorter than the cords in the inside. So to fix this and to be able to use all of the cords and not have to run with the issue that your outer cords, you ran out of them, what we do is that for the next section, once you start a new section, the working cords, you'll move them to the middle and they'll become your base cords, and your base cords will now become your working cords. So the base cords that are much shorter than the middle ones will now go to the middle, and then the middle is not going to move out. So the way that we do a half square knot is exactly that, by only doing step 1 of the square knot. So we're only going to do the 4. So it'll be the 4 over, behind, and through. Then we're going to tighten it and just set it in place. The first knot is going to look a little wobbly and there'll be a little hole here, but it's fine. And then the next knot that we'll do is still the 4. So we won't go in reverse this time, we'll just keep on doing the 4. So 4, behind, through the loop. So 2, 3, continue doing the 4, 4, and 5. Through the back. There we go. So we're going to do 15 of these, but once you reach 5, so that we can form the spiral shape a little bit better and we're not kind of like moving with the knots, we ended here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to twirl it a little bit and we're going to start from the back. So we would have continued knotting here. Now we twirl it and we start from here. So now we're going to do 5 more. 4, front, back, and through. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now again, once we reach the next 5, we're going to twirl a little bit and then start again. The last 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we twirl it at the end, and then we have our little spiral shape. So we're going to do it one more time for this side. So again, the working cords now become the base cords, and the base cords now become the working cords. So we'll put them like this in the middle. We'll do a 4 over, behind, and through. Now we use these to put them in place. Go. And now we go again. We're going to do 4 more. So the way to count these, if you lose count, is by counting these horizontal lines. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now again, we ended here. We're going to twirl it and start from the back. We do the 4. So 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we twirl again, and then the last 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we twirl again, and now we have both of our little spirals. So now the next step that we're going to do, our third sequence is going to be doing the same exact thing that we did up here, but now we're going to do it down here. So once again, since we're starting with the new sequence, then our working chords become our base chords again, and our base chords become our knotting chords again. So then just like this, and then we go again. We do the 4, front, behind, through, we tighten it, and now this time for the square knot we're going to do the reverse. So we do reverse, over, behind, and through. So remember, step 1, we start with the left, right over, behind, through, and then now we start with the right, and then the left goes over, behind, through. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to put another bead. So macrame is kind of like yoga. Like, don't feel like you need to rush the process. You go at your own pace. At the beginning you'll always be a little bit slow, but don't worry about it. Everyone starts there. So then now we're going to go over the bead, and then again 4 more square knots. So reverse, so this can be a little tedious since you're doing the knot over and over again, but as a beginner I think it's the perfect way of practicing and getting a feel for not only the knots but the texture. This rope can be a little rough at the beginning. So it's good to practice these knots that you'll end up using all the time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we'll do the other side. So once again, working chords become the bass, and the bass become the working chords. So we're going to do square knot again, 4, the right over the left, through the back of the bass, and through the loop. We tighten it. So don't worry if it looks a little weird. Once we do this transition, after we do like the knots, they look much better. So then now we go reverse with the left, over, behind, and through the loop. So now again, 4, over, behind, and through the loop. Reverse. So this is 2. We go back. 3. And then once again. 4. So we make sure that it's equal to the group right next to it. And now we're going to put another bead. So now we're going to go over the bead and do the 4. We tighten it and put it in place, and then we go back reverse. Three. And 4. So let's pull this one up a little bit so it can be equal. And here are the 2 sides. So once you do all 4 groups, they'll end up looking like this. So we have 2 on this side, and then 2 on this side. Okay, so the first part is done. This is the most complicated one and the most tedious one because of all the knots. So now, I'm going to move the up a little bit. So now the next step that we're going to do is we're going to connect all of these different groups together. So the way we connect it is by doing an alternate square knots. So what that means is that we're going to grab 2 chords from one side and 2 chords from another group. So it would be 1 working and 1 bass from one side, and then 1 working and 1 bass from the other side. Just like this. So 2 from one side, 2 from the other side. So whatever is near each other is what you'll be using. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now here, the working chords automatically become the bass chords, and the bass chords become the working chords. So this is the part, like, when you know how big your plant hanger is going to be, you can make this as big, the spacing that we're going to do right now, you can make it as big or small as you want. So for this specific one, we're doing 8 fingers long, just like this. So then once you reach the bottom, then you'll do another square knot. So you're kind of like freelancing it. So you'll do step 1, the 4, and then just leave it like this, and you can measure more accurately where you want them to fall. So this is kind of 8 fingers. So once you already have it set, then you can do the other side. So reverse. Here's 1. And then we're going to pull it down a little bit. Whoa, too much. And then we're going to do a second one. So square knot, and then reverse. Perfect. So now you have one of them. So now we have to connect all of these together. So 1 down, 3 to go. So now let's do this side. 8 fingers. So once again, you can do this as low as you wanted it. Like if you have a plant that is really big, then you would want to do it a little bit lower. So let's see. Kind of match it either with your fingers or to the knot that's right next to it, just so they're all in the same place. So now once it's set, then we do the second part. We tighten it, and then we do the second knot. There we go. Now we're going to move to the other side and do the same thing. So 8. So you see here, this one ended up being a little more on top than the rest of them. So what I did is I pulled it down a little bit, and I kind of manipulated it the way I wanted it, and now it's down to where the other ones are. So if it was longer than all of them, then you would want to just push them up a little bit so they can be all at the same level. So now again, 8 fingers. So once again, we're doing the alternating, so it's 1 from one side and 1 from the other side. The working chords become the bass chords, and the bass chords become the knotting chords. So let's do it again. We'll do part 1 of the square knot. Make sure it's in the right place. And then we do the second part. And then again, 4. And then, there we go. So now, last one. So we do 8 fingers. We set it. We do first half of the square knot. So 4, over, behind, and through. We're gonna set it. 4 fingers, 4 fingers. Everything matches. So now we're going to do the second part. So reverse 4, right on top of the left, through the back, and through. And then 1 more. now, as you can see, all of these are connected. So now we're going to do the bottom. That is where the pot is going to lay on. So if you have like a really big pot, right now I'm just going to do 5 fingers. But if you have a really big pot, then you can do whatever more, like maybe 10 fingers, so it can fall better. But since I'm doing a small pot, then I'll just do 5 fingers. So again, we'll do an alternating. So we're joining these two. So we're joining all of these. So again, alternating knots, the square knots, the bases become the working, and the working become the base. So now we're doing 5 fingers. We do again, kind of like freestyle the first half of the square knot. Before doing the second half, we'll make sure that it's where we want it. There you go. So now we'll do the second half. 1 and 2. So we'll do again 2 square knots. So again, 1 down and 3 more to go. So again, 5. So now for this one, I'm using these 2 and these 2 from this side. So base and working. So we'll do 5 fingers. Make sure it's in the right spot. And then 1, 2. So now we'll do the other side. Flip it. And now 5 fingers. We'll do the first half of the square knot. Make sure it's in the right spot. Then we'll do the second half. One, and 2. And then the last one, yay. 5 fingers. There we go. So now all of them are in the same spot. Everything's good. So now all of these are connected, the top and the bottom. So this is kind of like where your pot is going to go. So now to close the end, we're going to do it just the same as we did on the top with the square knot. So since this is the pretty side right here, and this is the side that we did the wrap knot, this is the side I like doing it in the bottom as well, just so I can have like a back, but you're welcome to do it any place you want. So now we're gonna use the second cord that is 1 yard long. So then we'll do just like the beginning, we'll do like a U. It can be like 4 to 5 fingers long. We're going to place it in front of your knots, and then we wrap again. We tighten it, and then we wrap. Wrap. until there's like either no more cord to wrap or we're like one finger away from the end of this little loop. So now we're gonna put the end through. See, this is why it's good to put tape, because my cord is unraveling. So now we're going to put it through the loop. Oh. In a piece like this that's small and you're going to end up cutting it, it doesn't really make a difference, but when you're doing, when you're doing a bigger piece and you don't notice and you're just knotting away, then it becomes a problem. So now we're going to cut the extra strands. And then now our plant hanger is almost done. Yay! So now what we're going to do is that we're just going to cut. We're going to cut the ends a little bit so we're going to cut the ends where the tape is. So I have like leftover string here, so I'm just going to cut it where the shortest cords are. And there we go. If you want to unravel the cords, you can. If you want to unravel the bottom cords, you can. I'm just going to leave them like this. So then now you put your pot in your plant hanger and you're done. Yay! So you've created your first plant hanger. I really hope you guys enjoyed the session. If you have any questions, feel free to either email me or comment below. You can also follow me on Instagram and direct message me. And if you post your creation, please tag it with ChiquiStudios. Bye!